Well, I have a lovely day today, at least on my side of the island. And so I thought it'd be a perfect day to come out and look after my currants. I have a black currant and a red currant. And winter is the best time to do it, at least before spring, before the buds start coming out. So you want to get them when they're dormant, and today is a good dormant day to prune them. My currant bushes have been producing really well for me, but it is the fourth year. And berries produce best on the second and third year, I understand. So I want to get out any of the old branches now and just general maintenance for these. But my red currant is back there buried in snow. So that's my first job, is to shovel that out. So I'm looking for a few things. Here's a great example of a couple of them. This branch, you'll notice obvious, the bark is gone on this. It is in fact looking dead, so that's definitely a 4-year one. And beside it is a younger one. But I can see a crossover where it's going to hurt the plant beside anyway, rubbing against, especially in my high winds. And that can cause the fungal to get into it also. Here's another dead one. And the idea, so I understand, is to get, this is completely dead, is to have sort of an open globe effect, they say, to provide the air inside. Here's one with old looking bark, and it's right in the center here, so I'm going to take that one out. You can see a damaged one here. I'll take that out. This one's definitely interfering, so I'm going to cut that right down as close as I can go. Wasn't looking too great anyway. Hopefully you can see the difference between a lovely fresh looking branch and this one not so much. Now this bush is growing nicely. I do see some crossover here that I want to clean up. So I'm going to cut this one right out, and it's also in the center, which will provide the air I want. There's a little one here. Now these branches that I've cut off will also in future start producing their own branches from the base. I think I'm going to take this one out here in the center. Well, that's a rather good looking one, but I will chop these up into nice little bits like that and plant them in some soil. I would stick them in the ground if I could, but it's frozen ground, so they're going to go in a pot first. This little branch here is growing right over the other, so I'm just going to cut that one out. And these two are very close also. So I will take the bottom one. The other thing I have to do, I ordered my potatoes and onions the other night, and it's time for me to start mapping out where some of my produce is going to go. Specifically my potatoes, my onions, because they take up a lot of ground. And then I always have to consider where my deep root vegetables are going. That's the carrots and parsnips, because not all of my beds are as deep as I'd like them to be in soil. Pretty much every year I think I put most of my carrots, or at least the bulk of them, in the two beds here. They were my first beds, and they do have the largest buildup of soil. And specifically on the side facing me right now, it's deeper, so the roots can go well down. This bed is probably going to be my carrot bed this year. Parsnips, carrots, and of course I interplant with everything, but at least some rows there. The soil is high enough. They've all been enriched, certainly with manure, by the way, so they're all sort of prepped and ready for my planting come spring, which is good. And And maybe that bed over there, if I can get more soil in it, it's got a lot of depth to it, and put my carrots just to change it up a bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, this bed I can see is low in soil. These are my newer beds. So plants with less deep roots will go there. Here is my garlic that does not have added amendments to it, such as the manure. Because I planted the garlic in October, my manure is a little raw. It needs the 6 months of time to decompose here on my beds. I have put potatoes in my beds in some years to change it up, but I have so much I want to grow now. I don't think that's an option for me because that's prime growing space. I'll show you where I had the potatoes last year. I'll flip you around. So my potatoes grew really well here last year, but that is one vegetable I do like to move around, not put in the same space. So it was all here. Maybe I'll just I had brassicas here, and the soil isn't fully amended up here. I will do better this year. Each year I add more. So maybe I'll just push the potatoes over here. Some might overlap, because I have 18 pounds of potatoes on the way. And this is a nice big space. I'm not sure I have enough room here though, so I gotta get a backup plan too. Ooh, some coyote tracks. So let's go over to where I originally, my very first year, planted my potatoes and onions. Oh, onions, haven't thought of where those are going yet. It's so nice to have a lovely day to get out with no winds. We got a lot luckier than our neighboring Nova Scotia did. Boy, they got buried. Alright, so here my onions and potatoes I used to rotate for quite a few years, and I just gave it a break, but maybe it's time probably to bring some potatoes back here. There's a nice spot in the middle, isn't there? Yeah, and I do have grow bags also. But I've really got to get my pen to paper and start planning what's going where. You always think you have a lot of space, but when it comes down to it, and the more and more we grow, there's not. Oh, I've got to show you this mosh here, or corn salad. It's an incredible plant that holds up in the winter. Well, I'm really glad we got this lovely day today, so I could walk around, because I really do need to plant. It is that time, and before you know it, it's planting time, especially for things like my onions and my potatoes. They go in relatively early. So that's what I may do today. Lovely quiet day here, and start to realistically plan out what can go where, so I'm not left in a mad rush when the time comes. Hope you're all keeping well. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.